but he's still going to pick it up. And so he's going to go with what has worked for him. And Rascal is, you talked about rocks, not the team, but like top lane players that are like a rock that you can, lean on. Rascal has become that. He is so consistent, unbelievably consistent, this player that rarely gets talked about. And if there's anybody that I trust to take the Ornn and try to prove to us once again that he still is decent in the top lane, it would be Rascal. So I like that he's going to pick it up here into the Camille. I think it's going to teach us a lot more about Ornn's power level and just how strong is Camille for Doran, who, as you mentioned, it's his most played. He's very comfortable on that champion
in the LCK. And this is Rascal's most played by a country mile. I believe lifetime. I actually have a...
Take a look.
I need to have a look at Rascal's statistics.
It's his
Ornn most played.
It's his most played in summer, which is really... It's surprising for me because after... like the halfway through round 1, it's like he just disappeared. I mean, we rarely see Ornn anymore.
Well, it's his most played by 9 games. Second most played is Camille at 21, and he's played Ornn 30 times. He has a 70% win rate, though, so you can see why.
Casual 19 games of Akali we never see.
Well, I mean, when he was on King's Zone, his Akali was certainly to be feared. It was actually very impressive.
There are so many matchups to talk about in this game. Obviously, bottom lane, Deft versus Ruler. Life, I feel like he's the guy that's kind of the underdog of the 4. He has to prove to everybody else that he deserves to be on the same level as Keria, as Deft and Ruler.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ruler did a lot of carrying in that lane, I believe, early on, but Life has been getting better, as I mentioned earlier.
He got back-to-back POGs in their last match, so Life certainly coming out swinging in recent times.
He is absolutely getting better by the day.
Oh, hot cocoa on the bottom side. And skin synergy between Deft and Keria. Frosted Ezreal definitely always reminds me of Double-Edged, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've been watching League of Legends for way too long. But this is an old school skin. Deft used to be a Pulsefire guy. He used to play Pulsefire every single time. Even when it had the wonky animations, which meant a lot of people didn't want to play it. The Deft was still there because it looked cool.
Yeah. You got to go with the best skin. You look good, you play good. I mean, that's...
Oh, damn right.
That's just basic math, okay?
Yeah. I'm not good at basic math, but I understood that.
None of us are. It's okay. We see the stats here. This is kind of what you were talking about, objectives early on in the game. DRX, they don't go for objectives. They win lane.
Yeah.
and then win the game through that.
Well, their CS difference at 15 minutes is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Which certainly shows that. Colossal smash there as, see? He's the best Zoe in the LCK. Level 3 redemption. We say level 4 is the benchmark. Just insane. Well, and LCK total, he's 6-2, pretty good on the Galio.
Who was that mid laner that BDD was playing against that just made Galio into Zoe just look horrendous? I forget who that was, and I don't necessarily want to call them out because it was...
It might have been Kuro.
Pretty horrendous. Might have been Kuro.
Yeah.
But you can see that Chovy has a much better understanding of how to play the matchup. Gets the taunt off before the Justice Punch. Obviously, we're not at level 6 yet, but you can already see that good stuff is starting there in the mid lane.
Good knock up there from Rascal, as he's already built himself Ruby Crystal. Not getting as much value out of that as he would have used to, but he will when he goes back. That's a great little stun onto Life, but as you can see, no issues here. 29-14. Clid's played a lot of Lee Sin, guys. We knew that. We'll see whether he's going to have a good time this time around as the Volibear, what's picked into him, 3-0 here for Pyosik. DRX haven't lost a lot of games, to be perfectly honest. As BDD going to have his back stopped, I believe. Some Winds of War.
Is he not on Vision there? I thought he must have been, but yeah, maybe BDD just doesn't care and he wants to clean the wave instead.
BDD opting in for the Unsealed Spellbook this time, not actually going for the super abusive Zoe. We've seen a lot of Zoes pick up a lot more aggressive rune choices, like Airy and Electrocute, things like that. to just try and smash lane, but BDD just wants to have that extra flexibility as we're going to have a 2v2 here towards the top side. And Rascal, oh, the mind game.
Oh, Doran.
Just beautiful, but that's a great ward as Pyosik, the police are here, please. Go back to your turret. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Right, there we go. And now he's going to move back again.
Yeah, it's really cool to see kind of the next leveling that comes out because Doran, it's like he almost sniffed it out. He's like, oh, I think someone might be here. I got to be careful as they're thinking about a dive now.
Yep, the turret getting a little bit confused as Chovy's going to make his way in as well. This big old taunt. It's going to make things rough. That's a great knock-up, though, as Chovy's holding on to the aggro, gets the flash, and gets out. Really nice first blood is here on the bottom side of the map. Zenith Blade gets life in there. Aftershock going to work out, but Ruler took a lot of damage there. As Eclipse will eventually proc. And life does tank up a lot, but it's a pretty even trade after all is said and done.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch the, the macro rotations that were coming in and how Chovy was able to get such a good push off and then get up to the top lane on time, but it's kind of just Chovy things, right? He is able to make it happen, and when we talk about Chovy, we talk about his lane dominance, but he is going to fall behind after that play in favor of helping out his team, which is kind of interesting, but I suppose you got to do that kind of thing when you are playing on the Galio and you have such a fantastic dive ability.
This is also, one of the things that Chovy does, right? Like, he plays set in Sax lane. It's all about, like, getting around and stopping shows elsewhere. He has a few different modes. Like, if Chovy wants to win mid lane, he tries really hard to win mid lane, right? And a lot of his Azir games are about that. But when he is on these more tanky champions, it's certainly a different play style for Chovy. Certainly one of the reasons why he's so good, his flexibility. But Gen.G, they're going to run towards the top side. They're looking for Doran. He's going to... Oh, no, he's not. Heroic Entrance is going to come in. And Doran's not dead just yet, but will eventually fall down. A 1-for-1, though, as BDD's down extraordinarily low. And Chovy will grab all of this farm, well, as much of the farm as he can find. And 1-for-1 is pretty even by my math. Like I said, arithmetically challenged. However, I can do that one.
Yeah, the dive here not nearly as clean for Gen.G, that's for sure. And it's because Chovy, once again, ahead of the play, is able to be there on time. And Lee Sin got the aggro for the turret, so that's a big reason why there was so much damage going on to Clid at the same time, and how he did get punished there. And so, a lot of plays around the top side of the map. We were talking a lot about this Camille. It's so important to get her ahead in this game so she can begin to really punish the Ornn. Great knock-up here from Rascal, trying to do his best, but there's just too much damage. Even the Winds of War come in, and it's just a little bit too much for that early game Ornn to handle.
Pretty comfortably just jumps his way forward, and Clid wasn't even tanking the turret.
He said, It's just like, yeah.
All right.
In green, it's just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever, big deal.
All right, Justice punches himself back, and Rascal is smashing farm, by the way, in this lane.
He is.
Certainly having a good time on the Ornn, outside of that one death. So the answer back was good news, and it was because there was
a big wave too.
Yeah, the huge minion wave that Doran lost underneath the turret that was actually eaten by Chovy is why Chovy's actually even with BDD despite taking a couple of excursions out. This Chovy, Justice Punch timing was pretty good. Keria going to show up with the little Pengus following him around. This is like, I know like Astronaut Bard is really cool and stuff, but Snow Day Bard is just the best. And always has been.
It's hard to disagree. You know, I do like the little aliens. I think it might be tied for first with the Pengus. I know we have a lot of Pengu fans here.
No, but it's the hot cocoa as well.
That's why.
Justice Punch going to be avoided there as Life going to slow Chovy down. He's been ignited. The Keria's coming in. He's got the meep slaps on. He's got his mittens out, and he should be able to keep his gargoyle alive. Pyosik coming down. They called the cops, but they're a little bit too late. Yeah, as Pyosik is looking to try and punish some scuttlers instead, ults his way out. And looks like Gen.G have some heralds in mind.
Ruler pushing the bottom lane. Going to use that time to come up here just in case a fight breaks out. But I think the second he realizes that they've won the fight, I think he should just go bot again. Yeah, but he might just push mid and then go bot. Let's see exactly where he does go.
He took one creep from mid.
This is how you do it. Okay, we saw before in the last series that I think it was Teddy that stood mid for a long time, taking farm from Faker and let the Ezreal get plates and extra XP down the bottom lane. Ruler, he identifies that they got the objective. He immediately goes back bot. Doesn't really lose anything because he had just pushed in. And he's not going to fall behind at all. He's going to keep that pressure on down in the bottom side. See, he's ahead 55 gold.
Amazing. Wow. Absolutely amazing. How does he do it? Well, you could just clip what Valdez just said, and that may help you realize just how he does it. Tactical sweep, and Doran gets out of that with the hook shot. So nicely done. Keria back towards the bottom side, and look, the Ezreal's behind by a little bit of farm.
How did he hit that?
That's just, he's B2D. That's how.
It actually looked like it went through the minion.
He has a console command as, all right, there's a bit of a taunt onto life to try and avoid a bit of CC. And Chovy, he's getting so much attention.
Yeah.
And he's down an entire 3 CS.
This is the Chovy effect. I mean, he doesn't even have to flash. He makes Galio look so much stronger than so many other people have in this matchup. He avoids ganks without flashes, gets away at perfect timings.
Oh, Keria, he's going to get ulted here by Life as the kickback onto the bard. He's going to take a magical journey into the Deft chamber as Deft is trying to face up Leona here. Oh my god. He's taking a lot of damage as there's a Justice Punch and no taunt to be had is now Pyosik. Yeah, here we go. This is what happens when you kill his friends. Pyosik's going to come in. Sirens are blaring. Now Clid not going to go aggressive onto the bear, I don't think.
Nope, just going to let him go. And that Volibear is kind of getting out of control here. I think you obviously would have wanted those kills onto the Camille and maybe the Ezreal in that case, but he's going to be really tanky and rough to deal with for the side of Gen.G, who do have a lot of great engage, but I think they're lacking a bit on disengage.
Whoa. Tempered Fate comes in. Oh, not going to quite find a Cosmic Binding there is Keria. Throws one out, but it's a bit optimistic.
The power of Bard.
Yep.
Getting flashes out of all of your teammates. Feels good, man.
Well, Deft and Ruler having a bit of a conversation down here. Both of them have been oppositions for a very long time. Going back to, you know, KT versus Gen.G days. Even potentially, you know, EDG versus Samsung days. Not sure exactly whether they played against one another during those moments. While Deft was over in China, but certainly been playing against each other here in the LCK for a very long time.
Tempered Fate is down. This is going to give a lot of free gold over the side of BDD and Clid. Look at that, 240 apiece.
Big monies. As you've got Gen.G also starting off this Mountain Drake, taking absolutely every objective here on this map.
Yeah, Gen.G doing well with some of their objective play, whereas DRX, as we mentioned before, not so great with it. Giving a lot for free over here to the side of Gen.G. And kind of comes down to some of the timings. I mean, TP was available here for Chovy, but they didn't exactly want to focus on taking down the mountain. As here's Keria. I mean, he's clearing a ward in the bush alone. No vision in the enemy jungle. And it was just a really easy setup. I think you have to play it a little bit safer. Obviously, Pyosik is able to spare the blushes of his teammate and catch up with a kill in the extended trade. But I don't think Keria should have been there in the first place.
Yep, Bubble going to connect here with the Volibear, who's going to get chunked out. That just turns on the sirens. It's going to run away. It's all going to be fine. You bear lovers out there. Deft wandering back to lane, does have his Manamune completed, as well as the Sheen. 2 items going to be online pretty soon. Here for the Ezreal, who's enjoyed a very slow early game for himself. His support's been running all over the place with his Forbidden Idol that he's put together with his Lucidity boots. As Rascal has a slight level advantage and also way more health than the Camille. Chovy shoves in another wave. Let's see where the next point of aggression is for DRX, because at the moment it looks like they are, well, it's here in mid lane. As the bubble's going to go wide, but once again, it's, yeah, law enforcement just checking up what's going on in the area. and runs on out. I think I'm making too many references towards this bear being a police officer.
Yeah.
The skin's fun.
Yeah, I do like the sound effects. Makes it very interesting. And Chovy is beginning to show why this Galio gets picked into the Zoe all the time. He's just sitting there, it's like, oh, you want to Battle Star me just straight up? Okay, I'll just channel my taunt. You're going to do about 3 damage.
BDD looked so triggered while he was just doing a whole lot of stuff, like pressing all of these buttons. He's like, look, Galio, look at all my buttons. Yeah. As Chovy just walks away from him. Life, are you going to break the Coco? Don't break the Coco.
He would never dare.
He broke the Coco.
Maybe he drank it.
Oh, there we go. Don't worry. Keria has a new one for him. What a gentleman.
He's just sharing with the enemy, saying, you know, we're enemies right now, but we're friends.
No, it's a parlay for another 2.5 minutes as this Cloud Drake is coming up. Earth, Wind, and Fire could be coming in order. Something I always enjoy. Doran not going to be getting any plates here on the Camille, unfortunately. So not going to have quite the carry potential in the earlier stages of this game than he would. Still going to scale extraordinarily well, especially after, you know, items 2 and 3 come in. Trinity Force is now done, though, so it's going to get better and better. Chovy actually got the money there for Shirley, who was secured. And now DRX wanting to plant her on the top side, and Rascal, no idea why he's here. Hextech Ultimatum comes down, he tries to Bellow's Breath. The knock-up, but I mean, who cares? That is just so easy. And Rascal, he heard Shirley yelling. He knew.
Yeah. He shouldn't have been pushing all the way up there. It is pretty difficult to get away from the composition that DRX have, especially when you use your Hextech Ultimatum. Look at Clid. He's going to try to...
Oh, he wants to assassinate Shirley, but Doran may just assassinate him. Hookshot comes forward, the kick denied, and Doran grabs the kill. Oh, man. That was beautiful.
Is Shelly going to even live up there? I don't think so. They're going to get a lot of value up in that top side. The luxury turret will be there for some extra gold for their team. So nicely done. A little bit of going too far for Clid. Generally, when a Camille is fed, you don't exactly want to just run into her to try to stop your tier 2 from taking a little bit of extra damage, which at the end won't matter too much.
And this now gets really scary for Gen.G because they picked for comfort in laning phases, you know, things like that. The composition, you know what it's trying to do, like early to mid game, and they do have Ornn for late game insurance. But this DRX comp does amazing things when it comes to just deciding to get picks like this right here, as well as team fighting, right? Because of the versatility that you get with the heroic entrances. That was not the kick that you wanted to employ there, Clid, but also a fantastic hook shot.
Yes, okay.
To make sure that the Lee Sin was going to die.
Yeah. Easy take on the turret after all that. And they're kind of just feeding those kills over to the Camille too, who's 0, 1, and 2. Now he's 2, 1, and 2. And we all know what's going to happen when that Camille gets fed. And that's why we were kind of scratching our heads when the Camille was available and not banned. Why go for the Lee Sin? Instead, you could have had your own blind Camille and see what DRX wanted to throw into that. The Cleanse Respect coming out from Chovy from his Unsealed Spellbook. Doesn't want to get locked down by the Lee Sin pick potential.
You see DRX not even interested in starting up this dragon. They more want to go for some sort of fight. They don't have the Volibear ultimate as Winds of War not going to be stealing that one. Teleport in from the Ornn, but it's going to be behind Gen.G. Bubble connects. The bear not able to make it into the brush, but is otherwise going to be unscathed, as we'll see who gets the Drake. It is going to be taken by Clid, but we'll see whether they actually win the fight. Knock up only onto one there with the heroic entrance as Clid able to get himself out, but only the Camille to die just yet. Rascal also extraordinarily low. Chovy in amongst 4 members, keeping himself alive for so long, as finally the Ornn goes down. Then the Leona follows. A double kill for the bear.
BDD?
As BDD trying to bounce around this team fight, Keria has to flash the wall bubble. Too easy, gets the kill onto this one. This is why you banned this one.
Imagine giving sewing to BDD.
I know, right? It's just not what you want to see as Ruler grabs the kill onto the Bard. Deft desperately trying to keep himself alive, but I don't know whether he's going to be able to. Kick connects. Oh, and they just try to make him work for it. Clid over the wall. That is going to be the ace. And Gen.G, I mean, it looked like the team fight that they were going to be able to win on the side of DRX, and then B2D was Zoe.
Yeah, I don't even know how he was able to get out of that fight alive. There was so much commotion in the backside of that one. What is this TP?
That's Chovy.
Chovy's like really angry. There's nothing on the map. There's nothing for him to get to. I don't know why he's TPing there. So take a look here. Good smite by Clid. He's just hanging around. You know, he's not engaging. Great ultimate. Deft immediately is going to cleanse that one. And in the beginning, it's looking pretty good. Even though the Camille goes down, you've got so much damage in the front line for DRX. Chovy is zoning them all away, but Deft is not really able to do enough damage.
Oh, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, and BDD was just always in the back line, just waiting for Chovy to go down. He was very patient, and he just picks up all the flashes on the ground, too. And this is when BDD is not going to miss a single skill shot.
For that one.
You really should not be giving BDD Zoe, essentially. I think a lesser Zoe probably would have either died before this, not have hit his skill shots.
My favorite thing is that you say, this is when B2D doesn't miss a skill shot, and he literally didn't hit any skill shot from that point onwards.
No, he hit the bubble and the
bubble
star right there.
The bubble there, and immediately afterwards missed everything.
Yeah, well, you know. It's an Ezreal. You gotta gotta give him that one.
He's slippery. Yeah.
The damages received will be in most favor of actually Lee Sin, who has been very active in this game, I suppose.
When it comes to receiving damages, anyway, as Gen.G do take down the outer turret in the mid lane, there has certainly been a swing here as far as how the temperament of this game has turned around. DRX still ahead in farm. And the Camille still farming out very well. Does have Ravenous Hydra now completed, but ornaments are going to start flooding in. And Gen.G's scaling will get better. They do have Lee Sin Leona, who don't necessarily scale fantastically well. But Leona's very tanky. Offers a bit of CC.
And now DRX just very aggressively going to be engaging here.
Oh, there's the Ornn. True Shot Barrage lands mainly onto Clid. As BDD's just running at him. Oh, what? Finds the bubble and almost kills him with a damn Ludens proc. What?
Yeah, you guys may have heard of BDD. He's pretty good at Zoe, and he's 4-0-1.
Take this, man. Skipping rope. Rascal trying to clear out a minion wave, not going to be able to. And Doran is manhandling the Ornn. Certainly a comp that can split push very well on the side of DRX, which might be a good thing because Gen.G is showing that teamfights are something that they're well and truly capable of.
This game is getting really interesting. I feel like it still is quite even, especially because of the split push potential and pressure that Doran is putting on. You can see that he's just taking turrets in front of the Ornn already when he's on 2 items, and there's really not much that Rascal can do except clear the wave. And so I feel like the only way to really stop this is to maybe employ the Warmog strat, where you go out, accept the wave, you take a bunch of damage from Camille, and then you hide behind the turret and try to get a bunch of your health back and wait for the next wave. But the side lane is always going to be in favor of Doran, who does have the second most gold in the game, actually, behind BDD, which is quite interesting.
Yep, he's been certainly in these side lanes. My goodness, that took a long time.
Lane lands.
Lane. Yep, just probably should have done a few vocal warm-ups before this one, maybe more than I did already. Okay, Clid's gonna find Chovy, but the bear is going to find him. True Shot Barrage somehow. Hitbox, by the way, is going to land onto Clid, who needs to get out of there. This might mean that the first Infernal Drake is going to be taken by DRX, and it looks like, yes, it's getting taken out extremely fast. Oh, that's a great Tempered Fate out of Keria to hold down BDD, but they don't get him. With the Cosmic Radiance, in goes Rascal to try and find Chovy. Pyosik down very, very low. Eventually is taken. And yeah, Doran not able to get into that backline effectively enough. Life also keeps himself alive for approximately forever. And once again, Keria and Deft cannot do anything.
Yeah. Zone nearly the entire time, and Ruler, take a look at this replay when we do get to it. There's a reason he's got the fire around him. He was shelling out so much damage. There was so much focus onto getting BDD. We saw Tempered Fate, people trying to dive onto that Zoe, and they weren't even able to kill BDD on top of it. So Ruler, on top of all of that, was doing insane damage, protected the entire time. Now he's full health, and he's going to be able to chunk this Baron, and there's not much that DRX can do about it.
No, Pyosik is alive, but he's in his own base, so not going to be able to do anything there. And yeah, Gen.G feels like if there isn't one amazing performance out of one player, it's going to be out of the other. So my focus may need to shift multiple times. When it comes to these team fights, this is what you requested. Let's have a look at Ruler this time.
Yeah, good play by Keria. Starts it off. And watch this great Ornn ultimate at the same time. Notice he hits the front line instead of the back line. Leona hits both of them in the back line. So there's just unbelievable amounts of CC that are going down onto everybody of DRX because both Rascal and Life are having amazing games on top of it. You know, the damage is the most obvious thing, but really the reason why Ruler and BDD are given the rune to do this is because of Rascal and Life and their ability to lock down the opponents and allow their attack damagers to do a ton of damage. And
there's the flash.
Okay.
Now we're looking for a taunt onto Ruler. He does go golden with his stopwatch. Bit of a slow as Justice Punch comes in, and yes, they do manage to kill the Ashe. Revenge has been claimed. Is now Life going to suffer the same fate? That's a kill over to Deft as Chovy Justice Punches his way out. Now the follow-up is there, but the bottom lane is missing. So Rascal not going to be getting in. BDD was spending some time top side of the map. So that's a couple of Barons removed. DRX just constantly aggressive. Doesn't matter how the game looks. They are always angry as Rascal gonna get ultimatum. There's the heroic entrance. And he's gonna be golden here underneath the turret. But the ulti from the Volibear is going to deny its damage. Now 3 versus 5. Gen.G is still taking the fight. These annoying minions getting in the way as BDD's at full health, by the way, guys. As Gen.G's going to jump back, BDD flashes forward. This mid-jungle synergy is beautiful as the bubble is going to go wide. I actually expected that one to land as the Q does. And Clid, he's thinking about it. The arrow's going to pierce the heavens. And there goes the Galio and DRX. They have to run.
Zoe is just so broken. I don't know what else to say. BDD makes it look so unbelievably broken, it's not even funny. He's like attacking them from 5 miles down the lane. And they, you know, DRX, they're so aggressive, but they don't know when to take their foot off the gas pedal. They got so much. They killed Ruler and one other person, and they were going, and they took 2 turrets, but then you got it back. But instead, they stuck around for too long, and they waited to see what BDD could do. Did not respect what he was able to do. Really nice arrow as well from Ruler way down the lane, just sent it right down the middle. Was able to allow them to pick up the 1 kill, and in the end, pick up the inhibitor. As now Gen.G immediately flip it back into their favor. And there's no objectives right now, but they still are owning the map for this point in time.
Yep, finally ahead in gold. And look, it's so extraordinarily close, regardless of the fact that all of these team fights are still going in favor of Gen.G. And it's a lot to do with that the guy that's currently at the outer top lane.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, Life and Ruler out of position and were just collapsed on by every member of DRX. They move in, but their health bars are low. You know, like they still and sacrificed a lot.
They stick around for so long. You know the combo here. Rascal is unbelievably tanky. I mean, he's also got a stopwatch. Great kick there on top of it. And everybody's getting lower and lower while Rascal is not dying. And then they're like, okay, now we got to run. But you don't run from Zoe. Just watch this. 1 flash, 2 flash, magical journey, bubble over the wall. He's not going to hit that one, but very close. And he just continues. It just never seems to end. And their chase potential is insane because of it.
Owen Wilson, Pyosik here on the Volibear behind enemy lines. Gen.G, no idea where the sneaky bear is. He's still there. He's still there.
And will they notice?
Will the bear flank be successful is the question. Pings towards the bottom side. I believe that's where Chovy is, yes. BDD taking some damage. Pyosik dives in. There's a heroic entrance. This is the wombo combo we've been looking for. Ruler already taken out of the fight. Doran's fighting Clid. Gets himself over the wall. Grabs the kill onto the Leona as Magical Journey gets them in there. Bellow's breath is good, but it ain't good enough as now BDD and Clid versus the world. Rascal, he's taking his time to die, but Deft cleanses the bubble, and BDD looking to try and take a drive-by blue buff, and is, unable to do that as Clid is able to secure it. And Infernal now should go over to DRX. This ain't over just yet, Valdez.
It's so back and forth. We were watching DRX push in after catching Ruler, and we were like, wow, they're going to get so much out of this. They might take the game. Gen.G bring it back, and now immediately DRX are able to do just that once again. As notice how they wait until they see exactly where Ruler is. The second Ruler comes out of the brush, that's when they engage. And even with Leona trying to solar flare down on top, everybody's trying to get on in there and save him. It's not enough. And that also gets Light and Rascal into the mix.
What? Did Chovy just cleanse a Magical Journey? Looked really weird.
It looks weird. I thought he got bubbled like halfway through, and maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know why it would.
What? Can you do that? Is that a thing?
I don't think we've ever seen that before.
The arithmetic's been difficult this game. Being able to say words has been difficult, and understanding exactly what's been going on in these team fights has been tough as well. These two teams still going at it. Double Infernal. As that's basically 2 dragons to 1. The Cloud not necessarily doing that much here for Gen.G. But it's still very, very close. Ornaments actually puts Gen.G in the lead when it comes to gold. 5 have been put together. So those extra stats certainly weighing in here.
I just wish that Clid was good at a champion that was a little bit more useful as the game comes along.
Yeah.
Lee Sin, he got some work done earlier on. He's had some decent kicks, but outside of that, he really has been a little bit invisible compared to the Volibear, who immediately ults straight on top of the flashless Ashe. And it's hard for her to deal with this kind of composition because you got that classic Galio Camille combo, but on top of that, you have the Volibear that's also diving in, and you also have to dodge Tempered Fate. Bard is useful even just for getting Ruler's flash out of the way, like he did earlier underneath the turret. Even if that's the only thing he's doing all game, that's still really good, especially with the rest of your composition and just taking Ruler's damage out. And even though BDD is doing some insane work on the Zoe, he can't do it alone. He needs Ruler to stay alive. And that should be the main objective, I think, for Gen.G in these coming fights.
And you can see Rascal starting to take a lot of damage here from Doran, who doesn't have, a Last Whisper or anything like that. This is just the true damage from that second activation that makes Camille so strong into tanks in the side lane. And Rascal he's gone the route of the LCK Ornns as well, with Gargo Stoneplate for the team fights. And LS would be quite disappointed as Life. Looking for Doran. He's going to hookshot his way out. And there's no way that Leona can actually catch up to him, even with those Moby boots. I do want to talk about Deft and Keria. Keria has a QSS and a Mikhail's, so he can QSS himself so he can cleanse Deft. Deft is probably going to go Mercurial Scimitar as his second item, so...
Deft is cleansed too.
Yeah, it's going to need to be like 3 bubbles have to hit Deft if they want to actually CC him.
Yeah, and solar flares and arrows and all that fun stuff.
Well, that one's going to miss. Deft over the wall here as Life finds the solar flare, but not able to get the stun onto Pyosik, who gets out with the help of the Mikhail's from Keria. And I believe Deft managed to get the red buff, so I guess that that situation went in favor of DRX. But we're not exactly fighting over the big objectives. Baron has now respawned. Infernal Drake will be available for Soul Point for DRX and Soul Point for Gen.G in about a minute's time. This is so close.
Yeah.
We're expecting this to be a close series. But damn, I wasn't expecting Game 1 to be quite like this. It's been an emotional roller coaster between these two teams. It's felt like Gen.G are just never going to lose, and then DRX are like, well, look at what we can do with a Wombo combo team fight, which is what we identified. They just weren't able to make it work for a lot of the game.
This is what we said at the beginning. They're both very evenly matched, and I think their compositions match up well against each other and make for a really entertaining game. I don't know who's going to end up winning this one. I think the Infernals that keep stacking up for DRX are becoming a real problem for Gen.G. But even that fight around the red buff shows you the potential power. If Ruler is able to just auto-attack the entire fight, Gen.G can just fight front to back, but it's up to DRX to disallow that. Just make it not possible. They need to get backline access, and they need to lock down Ruler, and if they can, they should win the team fights.
Well, 15 seconds now. Doran, he's running. He was pinging the top lane. Thinking about going for a bit of a split here as Deft. Standing forward, but able to avoid all of the CC and skill shots. Because that's a big minion wave that's going to die. Teleport in. In fact, Doran's going for it. They're going to give up this Drake. Or at least try and, you know, poke Gen.G out, and they'll take an inhibitor for it. True Shot Barrage onto 3. It's actually doing a lot of work. We'll see whether they actually go in for the attempted steal, and the answer is no. They're going to trade this Drake for an inhibitor top lane, or maybe even find a fight to win his life. Down at half health, BDD also able to find one bubble, but immediately Keria is going to cleanse it. And yeah, the Ornn is going to go back, but now Nexus turrets are under fire. DRX trying to stop Gen.G from getting in, but BDD able to fight this one out. In goes life. Another solar flare is going to land. Good exhaust onto BDD. No one in this 4 members is going to be taken just yet as Deft gets over the wall. He's fighting straight up with Ruler. Over the wall is the Ezreal, but he's taken down. Tempered Fate unable to help him. As Doran's still fighting, by the way. BDD able to get that double kill. And I think maybe the ruse was a bit too cunning. Oh, Chovy! Chovy gets back in the doubles there. Pyosik gonna bite down the Leona, and it takes another turn in the team fight. Pyosik running after Clid, but now it's Ornn versus Camille. That's this game is about. Oh my god, you take the play-by-play.
I don't even know what to say after that play. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And DRX might just be able to win the game. They have minions, and it's only Rascal and Clid. That doesn't seem to be enough. We got 2-on-2 on the Nexus.
Yep. Chovy is going to be able to get Clid down very, very low, but the Nexus is going to be taken. These two members should have enough auto-attack damage, and it was a crazy roller coaster, but in the end, DRX are going to take it.